This video is a presentation about performing the listening evaluator role at an Agora Speakers Club meeting. We cover the duties that a listening evaluator is required to perform with some other details that can assist when performing this role. The listening evaluator role has an intermediate level of difficulty. It requires 10 to 30 minutes of preparation time, and the listening evaluator speaks for 3 to 6 minutes during the meeting. This role is evaluated by the meeting evaluator. Active listening is an important skill. When we improve our listening skills, it helps us to build strong relationships with others. And it helps us to improve our communication skills. Becoming an excellent listener takes determination and practice. And it makes us effective in our personal and professional life. The goal of the listening evaluator is to encourage and help the attendees to improve their listening skills. You will test how well attendees were listening during a meeting by asking questions. Your questions will be about the main topics mentioned in the different presentations. Your main challenge is to ask questions which are of a general nature and not be too specific. After all, you want people to listen, not to take notes of speeches. For example, a reasonable question would be, in John's speech, who was the person that most influenced him? Or, what did Anne think about the role of technology in the current economic downturn? Or, from which country was our guest? Try not to ask questions about very specific factual details, such as, on which day was John born? Or, in Anne's speech, how many jobs did she say were lost due to outsourcing? Or, from which city was our guest? Aim for questions that can be answered with 1 or 2 sentences. The questions can be about anything of significance that has been said by any of the participants, such as the meeting leader, the speakers, hot question speakers, or various evaluators. As with most roles, usually at the beginning of the meeting, you will be called by the meeting leader to explain your role. Explain not only what you're planning to do, but also why this is important. It is also important that people should not need to take notes or memorize anything, as your questions should not require it. A sample introduction could be something like, "Thank you, meeting leader. If you want to lead and influence people, it is important that you understand and address their concerns and motivations." Most of the time, they will tell you about their concerns and motivations. Thus, if we actively listen to what is being said, it will greatly improve our understanding about others. The problem is that often we don't actively listen to what others are saying. We tend to be thinking about other things, such as what we are going to say next. As listening evaluator, my role is to prepare a set of questions about what has been said during the meeting by the various participants. The questions will be of generic nature, so don't worry, you don't need to take any notes. Try to write at least 5 to 6 questions to ask different people. Note how much time has been allocated to your role on the agenda, as this will help you manage how many questions you can ask. Before you ask your questions, check with the Vice President of Education or the meeting leader if it's okay to have guests or to ask the volunteers to answer your questions. Also, if someone is doing a speech project, it's not a good idea to ask that person about anything that was said before their speech. These speakers are often nervous and completely focused on their speech, and that should be understood and respected. However, once they've delivered their project, the nervousness disappears and it's okay to ask them questions about what was said after they spoke. Since the answers should be short, around 1 or 2 sentences, it's not necessary to have people come to the front of the room. Just choose the person and ask the question. If they are not able to answer your question, ask the audience in general in a non-judgmental way. For example, Peter, in John's speech, who was the person that influenced him most? And wait. And please be respectful towards people who may not know the answer to the question. You can say something like, "Oh, can't remember? Oh, can anyone please help Peter? Who was the person that most influenced John's life?" If no one remembers, then maybe your question was too specific or about a detail that wasn't really memorable. Whatever the reason, you should then provide the answer to your question. The benefits of effective listening are that effective listening improves leadership as it helps to resolve conflicts, build trust, inspire people, and strengthen teams. Thank you for your interest in learning more about the Listening Evaluator role in Agora Speakers International. You can find more information about the Listening Evaluator role in the Agora Speakers International site found at the link shown on the screen or in the description below this video. Participating in meeting roles such as the Listening Evaluator is a great way to improve your communication and leadership skills. Our mission statement is that Agora empowers you to become a brilliant communicator and a confident leader who will actively build a better world. We wish you all the success as you continue your journey with Agora Speakers International.